The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead as I slammed my lesson plan onto the desk, my voice cracking through the stunned silence of the classroom. "That's enough, Alex. If you can't respect the rules here, maybe this isn't the place for your ideas." His backpack hit the floor with a thud that echoed my pounding heart, and in that split second, every eye turned to me. The straight-laced history teacher who just outed his own buried shame to a room full of wide-eyed juniors. I wasn't always this man. The one they whispered about in the faculty lounge as Harlan the Hard-Ass. 20 years ago, I was Jamie Harlan, fresh out of Ohio State with a degree in American history and dreams big enough to fill the Grand Canyon. Back then, the world felt like an open road stretching from the Rust Belt factories of Cleveland to the glittering chaos of New York City. I landed my first teaching gig at Lincoln High in Willow Creek, a sleepy suburb an hour south of Chicago, where the cornfields whispered secrets to the wind and the biggest scandal was the annual bake sale price hike. It was 2005 and America was George W. Bush's playground, wars abroad, reality TV at home, and folks like me pretending that love was as straightforward as a picket fence. Willow Creek was the kind of place where everyone knew your business before you did. My parents had raised me in a brick rancher on Elm Street, Dad a union welder with calluses like tree bark, Mom a part-time librarian who quoted Faulkner like gospel. They loved me fierce, but they loved their version of normal more. "Find a nice girl, Jamie," Dad would say over Sunday pot roast, his eyes never leaving the Bears game. I nodded, smiled, and buried the part of me that stirred when the quarterback from homeroom brushed past in the locker room. College was a revelation and a cage. Frat parties where I'd fake laughs over keg stands. Late-night study sessions that blurred into stolen glances with my roommate, Tom. We never crossed that line, but the what-ifs haunted me like ghosts in the dorm's creaky halls. By the time I returned to Willow Creek, married to Sarah, a sweet elementary teacher with auburn curls and a laugh like wind chimes, I'd armored myself in routine. We bought a craftsman bungalow on Maple Avenue, planted tulips in the front yard, and adopted a golden retriever named Scout who fetched the morning paper with sloppy enthusiasm. Sarah and I were the poster couple for Midwestern bliss. PTA meetings, block parties, her hand in mine at church picnics. But at night, when the house settled into silence, I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, wondering if this was living or just surviving. Teaching was my anchor. History wasn't just dates and battles. It was the raw pulse of humanity. The Underground Railroad's defiance, the Stonewall Riot's fire, the quiet revolutions in letters never sent. I poured that passion into my lessons, turning dusty textbooks into battle cries for the kids who slouched in my third period class. They were a motley crew. Farm kids with dirt under their nails, latchkey artists doodling in margins, and the occasional transplant like Alex Rivera, who showed up midway through my 12th year like a storm cloud on a sunny day. It was September, the air still thick with summer's humidity, when Alex transferred in from Chicago's North Side. He was 17, all sharp angles and quiet intensity, with olive skin, dark curls that fell like they had a mind of their own, and eyes the color of Lake Michigan on a stormy afternoon. His file said he'd been pulled from a progressive magnet school after his parents split. Mom staying in the city, Dad relocating to Willow Creek for a foreman job at the auto plant. Alex carried himself like he owned the room, but there was a fragility there, a flicker of something hunted. On his first day, he slid into the back row, backpack slung low, wearing a faded Ramones tee and jeans ripped at the knees. Not rebellion, but armor. I called on him during a discussion on the civil rights movement, expecting the usual monosyllabic grunt. Instead, he leaned forward, voice steady as steel. "Sir, it's not just about marches. It's the everyday betrayals, the friends who ghost you, the family that pretends you're invisible. That's what breaks a movement." The class murmured, and I felt a jolt, like he'd reached across the desks and tapped my chest. After the bell, he lingered, scribbling something in his notebook. "Cool class, Mr. Harlan. Makes me think history's got room for guys like me." I chuckled it off, but his words lodged in my throat like a fishbone. Guys like me. That night, over meatloaf, Sarah noticed my distraction. "Rough day with the new kid?" she asked, her fork pausing midair. I shrugged, forcing a grin. "Just another firecracker." But as I washed dishes, the hot water scalding my hands. I replayed his gaze. Curious, unafraid. It stirred memories I'd long since drowned in lesson plans and mortgage payments. Weeks blurred into the rhythm of fall. Homecoming banners fluttering like flags of surrender. Friday night lights painting the field in electric blue. Alex blossomed in my class, devouring extra readings on queer icons like Bayard Rustin, volunteering to lead a debate on Don't Ask, Don't Tell. He had this way of speaking poetic, urgent, that made the other kids lean in, even the jocks who high-fived him after touchdowns. Off the field, though, whispers followed him. I'd catch clusters in the halls. Heard he's, from the city, figures. Willow Creek wasn't hostile outright. More like a slow-drip poison, the kind that numbs before it kills. I told myself I was watching out for him, the mentor spotting a protege. But truth be told, Alex was a mirror, reflecting the boy I'd caged away. One afternoon, after school, he knocked on my classroom door, rain pattering against the windows like impatient fingers. "Mr. Harlan, can we talk?" "About my paper on the lavender scare." I waved him in, gesturing to the chair across my desk cluttered with graded essays and a wilting coffee mug. He sat, unfolding a dog-eared draft, but his eyes darted elsewhere, nervous, alive. As he read aloud, his voice wove through McCarthy's Witch Hunts, the suicides of men like him blacklisted for loving wrong. It's like they erased us, made us ghosts in our own stories. I nodded, throat tight. History's full of erasures, Alex. But voices like yours, they rewrite it. He looked up then, really looked, and for a heartbeat the room shrank to just us. Teacher and student, but something more electric, unspoken. "You get it," he said softly. "Not everyone does." That "get it" hung between us, a bridge or a trap. I cleared my throat, flipping through his pages. Strong work. Flesh out the personal angle. Make it hurt. He grinned, that lopsided flash of teeth, and packed up. As he left, his shoulder brushed mine at the door. Accidental, innocent, and my skin hummed like a live wire. I stood there long after, staring at the rain-smeared glass, pulse thundering. What the hell was that? Sarah sensed the shift that weekend at the Harvest Festival, where hay bales doubled as bleachers and cider flowed like absolution. We wandered the midway, her arm looped through mine, Scout trotting at our heels. Alex was there with the team, manning a dunk tank in a ridiculous pirate costume, his laughter cutting through the crowd like sunlight. When he spotted me, he waved, splashing water my way with mock salute. Sarah elbowed me. "Cute kid. You've got that proud dad glow." I laughed it off, but inside, guilt coiled like smoke. That night, tangled in sheets, Sarah's head on my chest, she murmured, "You're distant lately, Jamie. Everything okay?" Her fingers traced lazy circles on my skin, and I wanted to spill it all. The ache, the fear, the boy who saw too much. Instead, I kissed her forehead. Just grating overload. "Love you," she sighed, content, and I lay awake, the ceiling fan mocking my lies. The fracture came in November, leaves carpeting the ground like fallen soldiers. We just wrapped a unit on the AIDS crisis, and Alex's presentation was a gut punch. Slides of ACT UP protests, personal stories from his uncle who died in '92, the raw math of lives lost to silence. The class was rapt, tears streaking a few cheeks, but when the bell rang, Principal Whitaker poked his head in, balding, ruddy-faced, the kind of man who golfed with the school board and quoted Reagan like scripture. "Harlan, a word?" His office smelled of stale coffee and old leather, diplomas gleaming like warnings on the wall. He steepled his fingers, eyes narrowing. "That presentation today, bold, I'll give you, but we got complaints. Parents saying it's inappropriate, pushing an agenda." My stomach dropped. "It's history, Tom. The epidemic killed thousands. Kids need to know." He leaned forward, voice low. "And they will, but tone it down on the personal bits. This is Willow Creek, not San Francisco. Keep it neutral or it'll look bad, for both of us." I stormed out, fists clenched, and found Alex in the parking lot, leaning against his beat-up Civic, rain starting to slick the asphalt. "Mr. H, you okay?" His concern was a knife twisting. I wanted to hug him, shield him from the vultures circling. Instead, words tumbled out, poisoned by fear. Alex, that presentation? It was too much. You crossed a line. Stick to facts next time, no stories. His face crumpled, rain mingling with the hurt in his eyes. But you said make it hurt. You encouraged me. I looked away, the lie burning. I was wrong. Just blend in, kid. It's easier. He straightened, voice shattering the downpour. Blend in? Like you do. The words landed like a slap, and I froze, exposed. How did he know? Or guess? You think you're hiding it, but I see you. The way you linger on those slides, the pauses in class. You're just like me. Scared of your own shadow. My breath hitched, world tilting. That's enough, Alex. If you can't respect boundaries, maybe this school's not for you. He laughed, bitter and broken. Boundaries? You're the one building walls around your heart. He yanked open his car door, engine roaring to life, taillights blurring in the rain as he peeled away. I stood there, soaked to the bone, the weight of my cowardice crushing me. Pride or compassion? The choice I'd dodged for decades had finally cornered me, and in rejecting him, I'd rejected myself. The drive home was a blur of wipers slapping rhythm and radio static. Some old Springsteen crooning about highways and ghosts. Sarah was at book club when I stumbled through the door, dripping onto the welcome mat. Scout whined, nosing my wet jeans, but I brushed him off, heading straight for the liquor cabinet. Bourbon burned going down, a familiar fire that dulled the edges but not the core rot. I collapsed onto the living room couch, the same one where Sarah and I had binge-watched rom-coms in our honeymoon haze, and pulled out my phone. No texts from Alex, just the echo of his accusation looping like a bad track. Sleep came in fits, dreams of rain-swept lockers and hands I couldn't quite grasp. Morning light filtered through the blinds like an unwelcome guest, and Sarah found me there, unshaven and hollow-eyed, mug of cold coffee clutched like a lifeline. Jamie? What happened? Her voice was soft, laced with that teacherly worry she reserved for her kindergartner's boo-boos. I wanted to tell her about the boy, the principal, the mirror he'd held up, but the words stuck, barbed wire in my throat. Bad night. Student drama. She cupped my face, thumb brushing stubble. Talk to me. We're a team. Remember? We were once. Sarah and I had met at a teachers' conference in Springfield, bonding over shared horror stories of cafeteria food fights. She was the light to my shadow, optimistic, unflappable, the one who dragged me to folk festivals where banjos wailed under starlit skies. Our wedding was a backyard affair, wildflowers in her hair, vows exchanged with the Mississippi murmuring approval in the distance. But kids never came, not for lack of trying, and the empty nursery upstairs gathered dust like unspoken regrets. We'd compensated with hikes in the Shawnee Forest, weekend getaways to Door County, but lately her touches felt like questions I couldn't answer. I deflected with breakfast, pancakes stacked high, bacon sizzling to distract from the storm inside. As she headed out for parent-teacher conferences, I lingered at the kitchen table, staring at Alex's last essay, the one I'd graded an A+ with a note. Your voice matters. Keep speaking. Hypocrite. The school day loomed, but I called in sick, first time in years, claiming a stomach bug. Instead, I drove. Aimless loops through Willow Creek's veins, past the grain elevator's silhouette against the prairie sky, the diner where locals nursed endless coffees, the high school football field where Friday nights felt like religion. Memory pulled me to the old quarry on the town's edge, a sunken pit of turquoise water ringed by sheer cliffs, forbidden but magnetic to teens chasing rebellion. I'd come here as a kid, skipping stones with buddies, hearts pounding at the drop's vertigo. Now it was a confessional. I parked the truck, hiked the overgrown path, and sat on a boulder, wind whipping my flannel like judgment. What had I done? Alex wasn't just a student, he was a reckoning. His openness mocked my closet, that suffocating space I'd built brick by PDA-approved brick. My phone buzzed, Sarah, checking in. Then a text from an unknown number. It's Alex. Meet me at the quarry after school? We need to talk. No bullshit. Heart slamming, I typed back. Not a good idea. But he replied instant. You owe me that much. Owe him. The word stung true. By 3:30, I was back in the cab, engine rumbling toward the one place Willow Creek's secrets went to drown. He was there, silhouetted against the water's gleam, skipping stones with furious precision. Skinny frame in a hoodie, curls tamed by a beanie. He didn't turn as I approached, gravel crunching under my boots. "Knew you'd come," he said, voice flat. "Guilt's a hell of a hook." I stopped a few feet away, hands jammed in pockets. "Alex, yesterday." Panicked. The principal's breathing down my neck, parents complaining. "It's not about you." He whirled, stone clenched in fist. "Bullshit. It's exactly about me. About us. You see it in my eyes, don't you? That fear of being different, of loving who you love and getting crucified for it." The word us landed like thunder, and I stepped back, world narrowing to his fierce gaze. "I'm not. That's not." Lies died on my tongue. He tossed the stone, watching it plink into the blue. "My dad found out last year. Caught me kissing a boy at a party. Didn't yell, just looked at me like I was a stranger. Packed me off here to straighten out. But you're the adult. Should know better than to shove kids back in the dark." Shame flooded me, hot and unrelenting. "You don't know me, Alex. My life's here, wife, home, job. I can't just." He laughed, sharp as shattered glass. "Can't what? Be happy? Fake it forever? I've got friends back in Chicago who marched in pride. Got the scars to prove it. But here, it's like stepping back to the 50s. And you're the one teacher I thought got it. History's full of closeted heroes, right? Rustin, Turing. But they fought. What are you fighting for, Mr. Harlan? Comfort." His words peeled me raw, layers sloughing off like old paint. I sank onto the boulder, head in hands. "I fought once. College. A guy, Tom. We almost. But I bailed. Told myself it was phase, that Sarah was real. Now, it's too late. I'm 42. For Christ's sake." The admission hung, first time allowed, and the quarry seemed to hold its breath. Alex sat beside me, not touching, but close enough for solidarity's warmth. Never too late, but it hurts like hell getting there. We talked then, really talked. As the sun dipped, painting the water gold. He shared stories of his uncle, the quilt panel at the Names Project exhibit in D.C., the way grief had forged his resolve. I confessed fragments. The terror of Dad's homophobic rants at the dinner table, the relief of Sarah's ignorance, the loneliness that gnawed like termites. "You're brave, kid," I said finally, voice rough. "Braver than me." He shrugged, but his eyes shone. "Teach me how to be you, then. The good parts, the teacher who makes history breathe." As dusk settled, fireflies winking like conspirators, we hiked back in companionable silence. At his car, he paused. "Thanks for showing up. Means something." I nodded, throat tight. "Don't give up on that voice, Alex. Willow Creek needs it." He drove off, taillights fading into twilight, and I lingered, the quarry's echo whispering, "Choose." Back home, Sarah had dinner waiting, lasagna bubbling, candles flickering like hope. We ate on the porch, stars pricking the velvet sky, and for once, I let the silence be honest. "I need to tell you something," I started, fork trembling. She set hers down, eyes steady. "About me. The real me." Her hand covered mine, warm, unwavering. "I've known Jamie for years. The way you look at certain books, the pauses. I waited because I love you. All of you. But if you're ready." Tears blurred her face, mine, and in that unraveling, I glimpsed grace. The next day at school, resolve hardened in my chest like autumn frost. I marched into Whitaker's office, paper in hand, Alex's revised presentation, annotated with my unapologetic praise. "Tom, we're doing this unit right. Full history, no cuts. If parents complain, we educate." He blustered, but I held firm, voice steady for the first time in decades. "It's 2025, not 1955. Time to catch up." Words spread like wildfire through the halls. Alex caught my eye in class, a nod of quiet alliance. After, he slipped me a note. "Proud of you. Dinner sometime? With Sarah too." I smiled, folding it away. Pride wasn't the enemy. It was the path. compassion, that was the destination. For him, for me, for the stories we'd finally tell. But Willow Creek had other plans. Whispers turned to howls that week, fueled by a school board meeting where a cluster of red-faced dads railed against indoctrination. Flyers appeared in mailboxes. Protect our kids from the gay agenda. Anonymous, but I knew the hands behind them. Whitaker's golf buddies, the auto plant foreman who'd eyed Alex's dad sideways. Sarah fielded calls at home, her voice calm but strained. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Harlan teaches facts. No, it's not recruitment. I doubled down, inviting a guest speaker from Chicago's GLBT History Project for assembly. Alex helped organize, his energy infectious, posters in rainbow pastels, trivia quizzes that made even the skeptics chuckle. Rehearsals in the auditorium, his laughter bouncing off vaulted ceilings, felt like reclaiming stolen air. One evening, as we taped flyers, he turned serious. What if they fire you? For this? For me? I clapped his shoulder brotherly, sure. Worth it. You're worth it. The assembly dawned crisp, November sun slanting through stained glass like benediction. The gym buzzed with restless energy. Kids in bleachers, teachers along the walls, parents dotted like landmines. Our speaker, Elena, a wiry activist with silver-streaked hair and a voice like gravel and honey, took the mic. History isn't polite, she began. It's messy, it's painful. It's the fight for every seat at the table. Slides flickered. Stonewall's fury, Matthew Shepard's tragedy, the quiet victories of everyday loves. Alex emceed, poised as a pro, fielding questions with wit and steel. Sir, why teach this? Isn't it divisive? A dad in the front row, beefy arms crossed. Alex met his gaze. Because division's what happens when we hide. Knowledge, that's unity. Applause rippled, tentative then thunderous. I stood backstage, chest swelling. Pride, pure and untainted. Then the email hit during lunch, Whitaker's name in my inbox like a guillotine. Suspension pending review. Parental complaints assembly content. Meet board Thursday. My fork clattered, world graying. Alex found me in the lounge, face ashen. They can't. It's bullshit. I forced a smile. Fight's not over, kid. But inside, terror clawed. Job gone. Sarah stressed. The closet door creaking open to chaos. That night, betrayal's shadow fell. Sarah and I sat at the kitchen island, wine glasses sweating condensation. Jamie, the board, they're gunning for you. I heard from Ellen at elementary. It's personal. That flyer came from inside. Her eyes searched mine, hurt flickering. Who? Whitaker. She hesitated. Then, your dad. He called the meeting, rallied the old guard. Said you're ruining the town with this lifestyle push. That, the man who taught me to throw a spiral, to stand tall against bullies. Now wielding prejudice like a club. Betrayal tasted like ash. He knows. Sarah nodded, tears spilling. I told him last year when you were spiraling. Thought family could help. He didn't take it well. Rage and grief warred in me. A storm front rolling in. I grabbed keys, stormed to the truck, tires screeching toward Elm Street. The rancher loomed, porch light a feeble sentinel. Dad answered in his recliner robe, TV droning Fox News. Jamie? What's eating you? I burst in, words a torrent. The flyers, the complaints, you? After everything. He rose slow, face hardening. Son, it's for your good. This phase you're in, it's poison. Sarah called, said you're chasing skirts or whatever with that boy. I won't let you drag this family down. Phase? Dad, it's me. Always was. And Alex? He's a kid fighting the same war you pretend didn't happen. His fist clenched, but eyes, those familiar blue, crackled with fear, not hate. I lost buddies in Nam to that silence. Can't lose you too. The admission cracked him open, and we stood there, two Harlan men, bridges burning. Then help me build something better, I whispered. He deflated, sinking back. Don't know how, son, but try. Forgiveness didn't come easy, but dawn brought fragile truce. A call to the board, Dad's gravelly voice vouching. Jamie's teaching truth. We need that. Whispers shifted, parents recanting. Thursday's meeting ended in standoff. No suspension. Just a watch-your-tone warning. Alex high-fived me in the hall, grin wide as the horizon. We did it. But deeper currents stirred. Compassion's choice wasn't solitary. Winter gripped Willow Creek, snow blanketing the fields like absolution. Sarah and I navigated our new normal, counseling sessions in a Peoria office, her hand in mine as we unpacked the years of half-truths. I stayed because I love the man, not the label, she said one night, curled on the couch with hot cocoa. But we redefine us now. Friends, partners, whatever fits. Relief washed over me, bittersweet. Our romance evolved, not ended, into something honest. Alex thrived, out and unapologetic, dating a junior artist from art class with tattoos like manifestos. Their hand-holding in the halls sparked murmurs, but fewer now, ripples from our fight turning tides. He aced finals, applied to Columbia with an essay on hidden histories that brought tears to my eyes. Graduation loomed, caps and gowns a rite of passage. Yet climax brewed in shadows. Prom night, gym aglow with fairy lights and bass thumps. Alex cornered me by the punch bowl. Mr. H, something's up. Dad's been weird, late nights, yelling on calls. Thinks I'm why you're going off the rails. Chills prickled. The plant foreman, old school to the marrow, had simmered since the assembly. Stay sharp, kid. Tell me if it escalates. It did, swift as a sucker punch. 2 days later, Alex missed class, phone silent. Sarah's text hit during lunch, hospital. Alex attacked. Come now. The drive to St. Francis blurred. Heart a war drum. Our waiting room. Sterile white, mom's sobs muffled by a nurse's arm. Baseball bat, she choked. Behind the school. They wore masks, but yelled slurs. My baby. Alex lay bandaged. Bruises blooming like accusations. Eyes dull but defiant. Knew it was them, the dad's crew from the meeting. Payback. Rage boiled, but I knelt, voice steady. You're safe. We'll get them. Police came, statements taken. But Willow Creek's blue wall loomed. Suspects unidentified. Investigation ongoing. Dad called that night. Voice wrecked. Heard about the boy. This town's poison, Jamie. I'm sorry. For all of it. The betrayal cut deepest from within. Whitaker. Tipping off the thugs for order. Leaked emails surfaced, anonymous to the local rag, and the board convened emergency, him ousted, me cleared. But victory tasted hollow. Alex's road to recovery was long, therapy sessions and canceled college tours. I visited weekly, smuggling contraband comics, our talks a lifeline. Why fight here? He asked once. Window framing springs tentative green. For the ones coming after, I said. And for you. Summer unfurled, humid and healing. Alex healed enough for a low-key send-off picnic. Sarah's idea. Backyard strung with lanterns, burgers grilling, scout begging scraps. He arrived with his boyfriend, Kai, hands linked like declaration. Toasts flowed, to resilience, to chosen family. Dad showed, awkward in khakis, offering a gruff handshake. Proud of you, son. And you, Alex. Hell of a fighter. Progress inch by inch. As fireflies danced, Alex pulled me aside. You chose compassion. Changed everything. I hugged him, brief and fierce. You chose me first. That's the real story. He boarded a bus to Chicago that fall. Columbia deferred but dreams intact. Willow Creek softened. Pride flags fluttering on Main Street by next June. My doing, with Sarah's banners and Dad's reluctant grill. Me? I stayed, teaching fuller, loving truer. Sarah and I? Allies now, her new beau a gentle woodworker who fixed our porch swing. Betrayal scarred, but forgiveness mended. Humanity's quiet miracle. In the end, pride wasn't a flag or a fight. It was choosing light, every damn day. And in America's heartland, that choice echoes loudest.